Warzone has been out for quite a few months now, and within that time I've landed myself 17 wins and many more losses. I consider myself a veteran at this point with my 9 or so days worth of playtime. With that being said, my opinion on the game has changed significantly. Many of my initial points no longer stand with how I feel the game has moved forward. Many changes and patches have come and gone, and many seasons have done the same. Today's video is going to touch on that topic. Is Warzone as good as it used to be? When Warzone first released, everything was obviously new to everyone. The map, the way it worked, and even how certain weapons would perform in a setting much larger than any of the multiplayer matches, that's ground war included. That meant that a lot more experimentation was happening with players all over the game. You were always encountering different loadouts and playstyles that seemed less rage-inducing at the time because it was all so new. Figuring out what the best spots were to land at for loot, how you and your team would be in certain situations, and just learning from all of it was an experience that was wonderful and since then has changed drastically. One thing is for certain, that experimentation is gone and everyone tends to really play to the meta. With YouTubers galore, the meta changes dramatically every season with few things remaining the same. Same loadouts everywhere, same routes and buildings being held, and even with the introduction of new mechanics like the zip lines to help prevent camping, it's made the problem so much worse. You can now expect a squad being at a certain place and being correct almost 100% of the time. New additions haven't helped this either. As much as the new train being on the map was cool, it's no longer used as a drop point and drives along aimlessly through most matches. The stadium being opened up was amazing for like 2 weeks before it became just another location to visit on the map. The new subway system seemed like it was going to be a game changer, and frankly, it really hasn't changed much. Sure, the odd bounty can be outran, but in the long run, the game remains the same, with the subway almost instantly forgotten. I compared Warzone to Fortnite in a previous video and how some of its mechanics worked, and while yes, some of that still stands true, like how the guns are just what you get and that they have different colors associated with them, the fact that Verdansk has remained much the same even with these changes are making it a little more dull to play these days. Same spots every time, same teams to fight, nothing really changes. Now, with Cold War on the horizon and the fact that it's coming with a Warzone mode as well, gives hope to another map possibly finding its way into the Battle Royale. For that, I'm keeping my hopes up, but landing at Superstore every time and knowing 6 other teams are there as well is getting on the monotonous side. Let's hope to see a change up soon. Skill-based matchmaking, or as most refer to it as SBMM, is a mechanic used to throw players together in games based on stats from previous matches and all time. So if you have a decent KD, you are thrown in with people that match around the same stats, and until you get better at the game and your stats change, you remain within that bracket. Now, for multiplayer, this isn't too much of an issue, but Warzone is a whole other jar of pickles. I'll put it to you this way. My KD in Warzone is 1.3, which in multiplayer isn't even that great. Frankly, you would think that it wouldn't be that great in Warzone either, but that's where you're wrong. It puts me into the top third of the world, along with my wins being at 17 doing the exact same thing. My friends and I share similar stats, so when we all get matched against some of the best Warzone players in the world, it can be extremely frustrating at times, considering we're all casual players and don't tend to be as sweaty as most. These last few weeks have been super tough to attempt to even get near the top 10. Now, Warzone isn't inherently easy to play. I'm more than well aware of that. So, an example here. The other day I was playing with a friend from work who has maybe 3 games under his belt. I join his lobby and end up being put into what I could only describe as a bot lobby. I shot some person on a building to which the appropriate response should have been to get behind cover of some sort. Not this person. Oh no. Their response to being shot was to incessantly punch the wall in front of them until I had killed them, resulting in the easiest kill I've ever gotten in Warzone. This is what I'm talking about. Throwing low-level, low-stat people together can make for an easier time to get grips with the game, sure, but in higher-tier lobbies, you're looking at an SBMM that fucks over the casual players. In my opinion, this is something that just needs to be tweaked, not removed necessarily. So, I guess a blessing and a curse is the way to chalk it up. Now, as we all know, Warzone has been plagued with glitches, cheaters, and broken weapons over the last few seasons. As far as the broken weapons go, I heard a YouTuber say something along the lines of, "This is how they're keeping it interesting." As much as I would like to agree with that, I think it's more on the side of developers releasing things too early without proper testing in place and implementing it anyway. With that, you had the Grau absolutely murdering everyone since the beginning of the game, with dead straight accuracy and no recoil with insane damage at distance, making it the first of many weapons to get a nerf. With that nerf in place, it is still considered to be a weapon that contends with the meta currently. To this day, I have been and continue to be murdered by the Grau more than any other weapon. The Bruin 357 Snake Shot, Origin 12, FAL, the AS-Val 10-round mags, and the new R700 all joining that list of nerfs. Also, C4 is an honorable mention here. No longer can you throw it like an MLB pitcher, but instead a 4-year-old softball outfielder. Now, all of these things became the norm at their time of release, making the game difficult to play a lot of the time, considering you were outgunned at almost any time, no matter positioning or numbers. But with that being said, I don't think nerfs should have happened, yet buffs to other weapons to counteract the insane stats. Making other guns as powerful would have made other loadouts viable, rather than just the meta, almost bringing us back to the beginning with people experimenting and leaving things a little more of a mystery instead of predictable. The AS-Val is the only exception here. That was just fucking legal cheating. Mind you, this didn't happen, and we're seeing the Grau, M4A1, and the Kilo ran with the MP5 or the HDR, the current meta, with only a couple more guns thrown into the mix the odd time. This is something, once again, I am hoping changes with the Cold War update, but we shall see. Now, glitches are something that seem to happen with every new season, whether it be not being able to talk to your team after about 5 minutes into the match, or not being able to damage other players in the pregame lobby, to being able to get unlimited stims and stay in the gas for the entire game, the latter being the most recent. One that has occurred over a couple seasons is a glitch that apparently involves any weapon that has a skin, like something from the Battle Pass or store. When these weapons are used, sometimes it looks like you've picked up a Christmas tree and you can't look down the sights or even see around the weapon. Sometimes it's less in your face, but it still shouldn't be there. It's absolutely frustrating. With these glitches in place, it's made the game in some cases unplayable, making players like myself that enjoy playing after work or on weekends shy away from the game. Most of these get fixed after a week or two, but they really shouldn't be there to begin with. Once again, I am blaming developers for not testing patches before release. This is something that needs to be fixed a lot faster than it is. Now, on to my final point. The thing that has caused many players to lose their shit completely. Cheaters. As many of you know, cheating has been a massive problem in Warzone. I myself, a lowly player, have encountered many in Warzone and multiplayer alike. It is probably the most frustrating thing to encounter. Having a really good game, great positioning, and a lot of kills, feeling like, yeah, this is the one, and then all of a sudden, you're down. From where, you ask? You haven't a fucking clue. But the kill cam reveals some asshole across the map with an HDR and an aimbot on crack, killing everyone and anyone that fucker can't even see. This is probably one of the biggest reasons a lot of people quit playing this game. A multi-billion-dollar company releases the best battle royale to ever be bestowed on gamers, in my opinion. And they don't even include a fucking anti-cheat. It's 5 dudes in a basement in LA going through individual footage of potential cheaters being reported, with multiple videos on YouTube showing that in fact many of these cheaters have been doing it for months without any repercussions. Just looking at the leaderboards for Warzone, it will instantly give you multiple cheaters at the top, with average kill counts in the range of like 48 per game. That doesn't fucking happen. The fact that Fall Guys, a cartoon game show style battle royale released in February of this year, implemented an anti-cheat after a massive influx of complaints before Warzone is just ridiculous. A multi-billion, with a B, dollar company still hasn't after the apparent 200,000 plus bans recorded. This is either just stupidity or lack of effort. Warzone has been looked at recently as less fun to play, and this is one of the major contributors to that problem. This needs to be fixed. Don't get me wrong, there are some lulls in cheaters, but every season they come back and usually in higher numbers. So please Activision, get your shit together and create something. If you have the ability to create a game that has RTX capability, you have the talent, resources, and money to create even a basic anti-cheat. So, once again, let's hope that Cold War brings the heat and has something implemented at launch. Somehow though, I'm not holding my breath on this one. Now, as much as this video has been primarily complaints, honestly, it's still my favorite game at the moment, and the one I sink the most hours into. Even if I have to give it a couple days break, I always come back to play more. The challenge, gameplay, and different things you can do like the 1 crate challenge or using a certain loadout as a joke can change things up and make the game a little more enjoyable. I still highly recommend this game to be played, though it isn't what it used to be. It has the potential and team behind it to make it a masterpiece and have it continue for years. We are seeing the implementation of Warzone in a Treyarch title, which is insane to think of. Considering things like Zombies and Spec Ops were each company's own gimmick for the last few titles, We are now seeing a collaboration of the two studios that we haven't seen since COD 4. And for that, I'm more than excited to see what these guys come up with. So let's hope the future's bright for Warzone, with more maps, weapons, and cool new add-ons and gimmicks of their own that we can continue to enjoy. So the question begs, is Warzone as good as it used to be? Well, these are just my opinions, and really, that's for you to decide.